what I think about the AMS heat exchanger in comparison to the BMS heat exchanger. So the whole point of adding a heat exchanger to the VR30 is to keep the charge air temperature down so you can keep more consistent power. But I'm gonna talk about this graph right here and what its significance is in this comparison. So this is Z1 Motorsports heat exchanger graph. The stock heat exchanger is the blue line. The Z1 heat exchanger is the orange line. And they did like, what is it, like 8 pulls. And you could see on that graph, like every like time they did another pull, that slowly the charge air temperature started to rise at pull after pull. As you know, the BMS heat exchanger is gonna like keep charge air temperatures down in comparison to stock. It might not be as good as Z1's because the surface area and the fin, it doesn't have as much fins as a Z1 Motorsports heat exchanger, but it will be significantly different when you're doing pulls. Here's some additional information. So I have seen people run tandem heat exchangers, which basically means you're running two heat exchangers. What they did was they relocated the stock heat exchanger and the BMS heat exchanger, so they're both basically using both of the heat exchangers to get a combined heat exchanger output to allow them to get a even lower charge air intake temperature. But yeah, that's all the information I have regarding that situation. Now, I wish there was more graphs like this because it shows you everything you need to know. Like the stock heat exchanger, after a while, you could easily see that you lose performance after some time of driving because have it starts to absorb heat in the thermodynamics in comparison to a larger heat exchanger with larger surface area and larger fins to transfer over the heat and the coolant. So yeah, that's pretty much shit with all the heat exchangers. The larger you go, theoretically, you get a colder charge air temperature. But over time, pull after pull, your charge air temperature starts to get hotter.